Elera the barren woman. Before the times became as easy as they are for us today, though life is now also more compounded, there existed a town by the name Lumamba. In that vibrant village lived very happy and elegant people, among whom was Elera, known throughout the village for her kindness, her gentle nature, and her unwavering devotion to her husband, Bia. They may not have been known happiness in absolute terms, but they were as happy as they could. They had been married for 10 years, and despite their love for each other, their union was marred by one heartbreaking tragedy. From the very beginning of their marriage, Elera and Bia had dreamt of starting a family. They longed for the sound of childish laughter filling their home and the joy of watching their children grow. However, year after year passed and their hopes were dashed out as Elera remained childless. They even called her barren, for she was unable to conceive a child. Bia, a proud and stubborn man, was consumed by his desire for an heir. He believed that it was Elera's duty as a wife to bear him children and continue his family line, a status the African society bestowed on a man, regardless of his bargains. As the years went by without any sign of pregnancy, Bia's love for Elera turned to resentment, then to anger, and finally to cruelty. This was a very sad slide for the couple. He began to blame Elera for their inability to have children, accusing her of being cursed or barren. He berated her constantly, making her feel worthless and reminding her of her failure to bear him an heir. He refused to touch her, claiming she was unworthy of his affection since she could not fulfill her most basic duty as a wife. This would make Elera cry and feel sorry for herself by herself. Despite Elera's tears and pleas for understanding, Bia's heart grew colder and more bitter with each passing day. He took to drinking heavily, using it as a means to numb the pain of his unfulfilled dream and his frustration with Elera. He would come home late at night, reeking of alcohol, and unleash his fury on Elera, both verbally and sometimes even physically. Elera bore her husband's abuse with a quiet dignity, her spirit slowly eroded by the cruelty of the man she once loved so deeply. She felt as though she was living in a waking nightmare, trapped in a marriage that had turned from a source of joy and comfort to one of sorrow and suffering. As the years went by, Elera's once vibrant spirit dreamed, and a shadow fell over her once smiling face. The villagers whispered among themselves about the plight of a barren woman who endured her husband's cruelty in silence. Some pitied her, others turned a blind eye. Still, others were indifferent, neither sympathizing with her nor mocking her for her predicament. But no one dared to intervene in the affairs of a troubled marriage. After all, it is said, quarrels between couples need no intervention from outsiders, even if they are immediate family members. One fateful night, as a fierce storm raged outside their humble dwelling, Bia's temple flared once again. He had returned home in a foul mood, his mind clouded by drink and his heart filled with bitterness. In a fit of rage, he lashed out at Elera, his words cutting deeper than any physical blow could. He punched her multiple times with his tongue with a severity that went beyond fisted blows. "You are nothing but a curse, a barren tree that bears no fruit," he shouted, his voice filled with venom. "You have brought nothing but shame and disappointment upon this house. I should have never married you, you worthless woman." Elera's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces at his cruel words, tears streaming down her cheeks as she realized that the depth of her husband's hatred for her. In that moment of despair, something within her snapped. A steely resolve took residence in her empty, bitter soul. She knew that she could no longer endure the torment and humiliation heaped upon her by her Bia. She knew that she deserved better than a life of suffering at the hands of a man who once had promised her love and cherished her. It was more painful to her in that, to the best of her knowledge and antecedents, she was not to be blamed. And so, with a newfound strength born of desperation, Elera made a decision that would change the course of her life forever. As Bia raged on, his voice echoing through the darkened house, Elera quietly gathered her few belongings and slipped out into the stormy night. The rain lashed at her face, soaking her to the bone, but she felt no fear of regret. She knew that she was finally free from the chains of her husband's cruelty, and that thought lifted her spirit as she fled into the unknown. Everyone is supposed to have a family wall that offers a robust support system. Family being where we are accepted unconditionally. With nothing but the clothes on her back and the strength of her will to guide her, Elera set out on a journey of self-discovery and healing. She wandered through the wide forests and across the rolling hills, seeking solace in the embrace of nature and finding comfort in the beauty of the world around her. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Elera's heart slowly began to mend. The wounds inflicted by Bia's cruelty gradually faded into scars. Like they surely said, time heals the wounds. Even a very feasted one like hers. She met kind strangers who offered her food and shelter, listened to her story with compassion and helped her find her way back to herself. Through their kindness and support, Elera learned to love herself once more, to embrace her worth and her strength, and to let go of the pain that had taunted her for so long. She discovered that she was not defined by her ability to bear children, but by the depth of her compassion, the resilience of her spirit, and the courage of her heart. And so, as the sun set on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Elera found herself standing on a hill overlooking the village she had once called home. With a heart full of gratitude and a soul of peace, she whispered a silent, selfless prayer for Bia, that he might one day find the healing and forgiveness he so desperately needed. And then, with a smile on her face and lips, and a newfound lightness in her step, Elera turned away from the past and walked confidently into the future, ready to embrace whatever adventures and challenges lay ahead. Especially because she knew that she was no longer the barren woman tormented by her husband, but a strong, resilient soul who had emerged from the darkness into the light. Elera eventually settled and got all that she desired for a happy and fulfilled life. She found love again. Most importantly, she found unconditional acceptance and was encouraged to live without fear or favor. This is a pointer to the power of love, courage, and the indomitable spirit of the human soul. Because in the face of adversity and hardship, there is always hope, always the possibility of redemption and renewal. My prayer for you, our viewer, is may we all find the strength to rise above our struggles and walk proudly into the light, knowing that we are worthy of love, respect, and happiness by all means. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please don't forget to like and share to your family and friends, and also subscribe and turn on your notifications.